Hey, product people, it's Mike with Product Collective, and I had to go back into the Product Collective archives and pull out something that is very fresh in my memory, even though this is from several years back. It was March 11th, 2020, and I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, oh, Mike, that was the depths of COVID, and it was, but guess what? I gave a talk in Dublin, Ireland at Industry the Product Conference, our European edition, on March 11th, 2020. That's for a whole nother time. I'll tell you a big story about that one day. But one of the things I had to do there was give a talk. And that talk was about how to get started with jobs to be done. I just recently wrote about jobs to be done for product people, and I'm getting good feedback on that. So I actually wrote another essay on jobs to be done. But one of the things that I talked a little bit about within that latest post is about how jobs to be done can help you think about competition. And that's what I want to zoom in on today a little bit. I'm going to play a video from Industry Europe in March 2020, and it's going to help us think a little bit about how jobs to be done can help us think through competition. And I'm going to relate everything to my life and pizza. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're like, hey, Mike, we work in tech products. What are you doing talking about pizza? I promise you it's completely relevant, and it might get you thinking. So why don't I cut to me giving a talk in Dublin, Ireland? This is back in March 2020, all about my life and pizza. Let's take a look.
I love pizza. I'm a big pizza fan. I'm a big food fan. But in my hometown of Lakewood, Ohio, in the United States, there's a good dozen pizzerias, I'd say, in my city. There's everything from Harlow's. You see that on the far left. This is like a kind of a bistro, like very upscale and swanky. The kind of place where if I brought my kids, I'd feel a little weird. I'd feel like people were looking at me kind of weird. It's a pizzeria though, you know, but it's definitely your upscale pizzeria. So that's one example. And in the middle is Little Caesars. I don't even know, do they have Little Caesars where you're at? Anybody know Little Caesars? It's basically fast food pizza. It's the kind of pizzeria where you would just walk in. There's no tables to sit down. You're definitely not going on a date there. You're not even eating there. You go in, you say, I'd like a pepperoni pizza, please. And they're just like, here's a pepperoni pizza. It's just waiting for you. Who knows how long ago they cooked it. But, you know, there's an advantage. You're getting it really quick, right? And then you walk out. That's Little Caesars, fast food pizza. And then there's Angelo's Pizza. You see that on the far right. Angelo's is a neighborhood institution in my hometown. If you were to say that you lived in Lakewood, people would be like, oh, Angelo's? You ever go to Angelo's? And it's like, yes, I do go to Angelo's, okay? But that's your neighborhood institution. The pizza's great. It's a family-style restaurant. It is Lakewood. It personifies Lakewood. So, which one of these usually wins out? How many people think Harlow's wins out for me? No? Okay. How many people think Little Caesars wins out for me? I don't know what that says about me, but okay. Thank you for raising your hand. What about Angelo's? Okay, a lot of Angelo's fans. They would like to know that I'm spreading the word about Angelo's here. So who usually wins out? Well, Harlow's. Harlow's does win out. Not all the time, though. It wins out when I'm looking for that local sort of intimate date night with my wife. My wife and I were going on a lot more date nights. We have 2 young kids, so we hadn't been doing that for a while. Now we have a standing babysitter, and Thursday nights we go out on date nights. Harlow's is one of the places that we'll go. It's a great atmosphere. It's that intimate, sort of cool vibe there. But it's not competing with Little Caesars. It's not competing with Angelo's, really. It's more competing with Western Reserve Distillery, another local distillery in Lakewood, but it's super high-end, expensive restaurant. It's perfect for a date. Little Caesars does win. So y'all weren't wrong, but it only wins for me when I'm rushing home from my son's soccer practice. And, I usually have my 4-year-old daughter in tow while my son's coming into the car. She wants food, she's getting hangry, and if I'm being real honest, I'm the one that's getting hangry. So in this case, Little Caesars is perfect. I could go in, grab the pizza, get home, and 15 minutes after leaving soccer practice, we all have food. So yes, that's pretty nice. But it's not competing against Harlow's. I'm definitely not taking my kids to Harlow's after a soccer game or soccer practice. It might compete with McDonald's, true fast food. And Angelo's definitely wins. It wins a lot, but it wins especially when we're having friends over from out of town. They want that authentic Lakewood experience. We'll order Angelo's in and have it at our house, and they could get that taste of Lakewood. But they're competing with Melt. They're not competing with those other pizzerias, definitely not Little Caesars. Melt is the other sort of Lakewood institution. It's another place that when you say Melt, you think Lakewood. So why does it matter? It matters because context matters, okay? In each case, I was actually hiring each of those pizzerias to do a specific job for me. I wasn't hiring Little Caesars because I love the pizza and their pepperoni is, so amazing. No, it's because I can get in and out in 10 minutes from that soccer practice or 15 minutes or whatever it is, and be at home, pizza in our hands, and my kids are just fine. And I'm not hangry anymore.
Okay, hopefully by now you can see how it's all coming together. And yeah, we're talking about pizza here, but think about it for your own products. I gave you 3 different pizzeria examples, and these are real places. They all exist in my hometown of Lakewood, Ohio, and they're all good in their own way. Hey, even Little Caesars, their cheesy bread, I could go for it right now, trust me. But Angelo's, Harlow's, I love all those places actually. But in many ways, they don't compete with each other. Little Caesars is not competing with Harlow's when I'm thinking about going on that date night with my wife, right? It's competing with other places that I would hire to give that date night experience. Just in the same way that Little Caesars is not competing with Harlow's when I'm trying to get my kids home from soccer, right? When that's happening, I want it to be fast. I want to make sure that I can pick up the food, get home, eat. I don't have to worry about waiting around. I don't have to worry about big lines. And so again, the competition there, it's more like McDonald's. Now, again, we're talking about food, but think about it for your own products and think about the way that customers think about your products. If we just rewind all to what Jobs Be Done is all about, it's just this concept that people, they're not buying our products for the features and the functions. They're not really comparing us against a competitor for that laundry list of features that we love to put on our websites. But guess what? People don't care. What they're really doing is they're hiring our product to solve a specific problem that they have. Just like when I am at the soccer fields and it's 8 o'clock and my kids haven't eaten yet, school's tomorrow, I have a problem, right? I have this pain point. The pain is real. I'm hiring Little Caesars to solve that pain point, to solve that problem for me, right? So that first things first, we need to think about our products as solutions that people are hiring essentially to alleviate some sort of pain point and problem that they have. And when we think about it in that context, we can start to think about the competition a lot differently. So my call to action for you is think about your product right now and ask yourself, why are people hiring my product? Literally, what are the reasons? Jot them down. Maybe there's 3 or 4 big reasons. What are those reasons? And for each one of those reasons, what could they do instead of hire your product? Of course, they could just, stick with the status quo, but they could be hiring other solutions that might not even be software. It might not even be what you consider competition, but guess what? That might be your real competition. So that's my call to action to you. Think more about it. By the way, you don't have to be an expert about Jobs to Be Done or know it inside and out to do any of this, right? Even if you've never dabbled with Jobs to Be Done, you can think about your product in this context. And I encourage you to do that. I think you'll be a better product person for it. So that's what I've got for now. I will see you next time.